2018 was an absolute banging cheeks year for video games, but unfortunately it was spoiled by an absolute robbery. I get it, grifters just hate great writing, gameplay, and century-defining performances. But that's why I'm here, to spit some facts of how 2018 Game of the Year should have gone to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Alright, here we go. I know that a lot of people hate this game, and for some valid reasons. But if I'm being honest, people hate this game for a lot of invalid reasons too. And I think the amount of hatred this game gets from people who never played the game makes me feel so bad, because it feels like these people are robbing themselves of a good time by being so close-minded. They preach the mantra of it's a good game but not a good Assassin's Creed game, and then they never play it. And it's like, why do you not like good games? The world is incredibly vibrant at every turn, and the side quests range from fighting Minotaurs, which is so dope by the way, to helping someone by plowing his wife. I get it. You want something that takes itself more seriously and a world that has more than outposts. However, I found with my playthrough that Odyssey is much more than a copy and pasted outposts. If just exploring, you'll find different people, stories, quests, yes, bandit camps, but much more than that. 2. Again, simply walking across a child who said his father went missing just to go into the place and find a Minotaur had slaughtered the boy's father is a side quest I'll never forget, and it's something I simply stumbled upon. It's combat time! We run into the other common criticism, which is that the enemies are damaged sponges. Okay, so allow me to be a little antagonistic here. The problem isn't the enemies are damaged sponges. The problem is the average player doesn't know how to play the game. That's right, you are a bunch of retards, diagnosed by me, the smartest hard artism detector in the land. Putting aside the fact the average gamer ego won't allow them to simply drop the difficulty to easy, we can see that if a player wants to do more damage, they can just get better gear, equip better skills, and get gear. That increases their damage and further engage with the game's mechanics in order to make it work. If someone complains that Elden Ring is too hard because they poured all their aquacom into strength and then used a weapon with E-scaling and strength, the average response is that they are bad at the game. But then a similar situation happens with Odyssey. It's the game's fault. Ubisoft the bad, get better take. This is part of why I'm so diddly frustrated. Oil me. That many who hate this game haven't played it because instead of learning about the game, they parrot the opinions of YouTubers who made disingenuous videos on the game. I think the reason we ended up here was because the narrative around this game was a mix of valid and invalid criticisms. And since most of the people who don't like this game never played it, they never learned the difference. For example, many complain about paywalls, and all I can reasonably say to that is you're broke, go get a job, stop complaining, hater. To say this is designed so that the players buy an XP booster, microtransaction, is completely ignoring the other reasons the game does this. And I'll give you a hint, it wants you to play the fucking game. You absolutely, unfathomably retarded diddlers. I am better than you. I studied history. Sometimes games, specifically RPGs, do this so that you will explore their world by force, because taking away player agency is the sign of a good RPG. It's a way of encouraging you to engage in side content, get lost in the world, because that's where the gameplay's loops, bread and butter my cheeks, lies. We could also consider that there's not a level gap between these missions, but a massive world gap too. I studied history, and so maybe this gap is encouraging the player to take their time getting to the next mission, making their journey longer and more long. Perhaps the Jerkdaw wasn't good enough to survive in certain regions in Black Flag. Was your first instinct to go to the in-game store and buy time savers? No. You probably thought I should play the game for an extra 50 hours because the developers don't give a shit about my time. And before anyone comments it, yes, that game had a store with time savers. Go look for yourself, you nostalgia-blinded, egotistical, frog-rimming gamers. But now we arrive at the vibe. The vibe of Odyssey is absolutely unmatched. So yeah, that's how Odyssey was robbed of all the awards. Should have been a Spartan sweep, the Odyssey Award show, but unfortunately, the goddamn grifters voted for the fucking straight man. Of course those goddamn patriarchal, circle-jerking grifters that forced me to ruin my life did this to me. Hashtag Odyssey was robbed.